In just a couple hours, one of the biggest college basketball games of the season will take place right here in the PMAC, as the number 9 ranked LSU Tigers will square off against the number 1 ranked South Carolina Gamecocks. 2 elite programs, 2 Hall of Fame head coaches. There's so much to highlight before tonight's powerhouse battle. Friday night in Dallas was a great one for the Lady Tigers as they secured their first national championship game appearance after their 79-72 victory in the Final Four over Virginia Tech. But it couldn't have been done without some heroic performances. In just a few minutes, the doors to the PMAC will open and fans will get a chance to go inside prior to the start of ESPN's College Game Day, which will start at 6, followed by the tip-off for LSU South Carolina at 7. And stick with us, because when we come back later in the show, I'm going to talk to some fans and see what they're most excited for prior to tonight's matchup. Back to y'all at the desk. Tonight in New York City, another LSU legend was welcomed in the prestigious Heisman fraternity. Quarterback Jayden Daniels has become the 3rd Tiger to win the coveted award, and first since Joe Burrow did so back in 2019. Even though the award only recognizes Daniels' accomplishments this season, the journey to this moment started long before that. It was believed that at first, Jayden Daniels' football career would never get off the ground, as back in high school, doctors told him that they thought it would be unsafe for a kid his size to play the sport. Fast forward a couple of years, and he turned into a freshman phenom at Arizona State. After his play declined later in his ASU career, he took the chance and transferred to the Bayou to suit up in the purple and gold. And now he's reached the top of the college football world. After climbing the college football mountain, he said he wished he could pass a certain message along to his younger self.
Honestly, just keep working. I wish I would have told myself earlier, don't listen to the naysayers. But honestly, just keep working and always bet on yourself.
Even with the historic numbers that Daniels put up in 2023, it was still a season full of its ups and downs. Throughout the season, the Tigers' defense shelled out some underwhelming performances, causing some of the Jayden Daniels magic to go unnoticed. After the team suffered its 3rd loss of the season to Alabama, some wrote off Daniels as a true Heisman contender. But even though the team saw their national championship hopes disappear, they still found something to rally around.
Your goals are to play for championships at LSU, and certainly when we did not have that opportunity after the Alabama game, you start to, recalibrate, and certainly one of them was to rally behind what we considered was the best player in college football.
When the envelope was opened Saturday night and Daniels' name was called, he became only the 4th Heisman winner in the past 25 years to finish on a team ranked outside of the top 10. When the journey full of ups and downs came to an end with Daniels hoisting the Heisman Trophy, it was an experience that could compare to nothing else.
That was a different type of feeling that I had. Everything that I worked for in my life, everything I overcame, goals I set for myself, now to see it come true, it was like a big sigh of relief, but, I still got to keep working. I still got more stuff to accomplish.
What's next for Daniels is unknown. He hasn't announced if he's going to play in LSU's bowl game against Wisconsin, and there's mixed opinions everywhere about where he's going to land in the NFL draft. All we know tonight, though, is that kid Jayden is now that Heisman winner. Reporting in Times Square, Nick Lopez, Tiger TV Sports. Since June of 2021, when the NCAA ruled that all collegiate athletes can make money off their name, image, and likeness, some of the biggest names in college sports have been cashing in on what many consider an insurance policy on their body if something were to go wrong. But for some less notable athletes, the risk of injury is still high, but the money isn't flowing in.
So especially when somebody like me gets injured, especially twice, I've still got to pay for school and all that while being on the team still, but I don't have any NIL to fall back on to get money in my pocket.
Lemoyne, who is currently in his sophomore season at East Texas Baptist University, hasn't gotten the chance to step on the court just yet due to multiple season-ending injuries. But he did point out one of the major disadvantages of trying to live off NIL deals as an athlete at a smaller school.
We don't get athletic scholarships, so then on top of that, we don't get as many NIL. So that means we have more money coming out of our pockets than we have coming into our pockets, unlike the D1s.
In the first year of NIL deals, Open Doors has reported that the average Division I athlete has made $3,711, while Division III athletes averaged a merely $309, which is just 12% of what D1 athletes saw. This is due to the fact that even after signing NIL deals in lower divisions, nothing is truly guaranteed.
The bigger schools like they get guaranteed money. You know, like somebody could show up to an event and just get the money, but for us, it's a little different. It depends on what you do for the brand. So like if you endorse or you sell something for them or just put it out there so everybody can see on your own media accounts, that's how much you get paid.
With NIL deals still being in its early phases, no one truly knows when the opportunity gap between the different divisions of college athletics will shrink. But for now, only a select few have that safety net to fall back on. I'm Nick Lopez with Tiger TV. For most sophomores in college, their long-term goal involves getting a degree. But for Dylan Machachik, school may be taking a back seat so he can follow his true passion, a career in MMA. The 19-year-old Illinois native made somewhat of an unprecedented decision when he decided to pursue MMA. But he says it's something that has always been in the back of his mind for a while now.
I always kind of liked it a lot. And yeah, I've always had an interest in it. I kind of just always thought that like my parents wouldn't really like it or anything, so I never really pursued it like that, but I always had like a little silent interest in it. And then I was kind of thinking about it, and like I just felt like I'd been stuck in a rut for a while, and that I'd really wanted to do something, like, because I've always liked feeling athletic, like doing athletic stuff, and like that's like what I really like doing instead of like school and everything. So I was like, you know, I feel like I need a change in my life, like maybe this is what would be it.
Approval from loved ones was one of the biggest question marks when Dylan decided to take this journey into mixed martial arts. But after a sit-down conversation when everything was out in the open, he knew it was what he needed to do.
You know, it was pretty emotional, honestly. It was actually a very emotional kind of conversation. It felt like it freed up a lot for me. But yeah, it was, I mean, obviously they kind of had like some doubts, like my parents, because, you know, it's not like something that anybody's ever really done before in my family, so it's not like they were expecting me to do it. Kind of came out of nowhere to them. And, you know, my parents don't really like seeing me get hurt or anything.
Although Dylan thought he hid his intentions well from his family, there was one person that has always been in his corner that said he could see this move coming from a mile away.
He's been training a lot, and he's been telling me, you know, how burning the passion is. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just been on his mind a lot. And so when he announced it to the family, it came as no surprise to me. I'm like, you know, I kind of saw this coming.
One of the toughest decisions Dylan had to make was how he planned on balancing school and his love for fighting. And at first, it seemed like school was going to be cut out altogether. But after some thought, he came to the realization that a backup plan is a necessity in the fighting industry.
At first, I kind of was like, I'm just gonna leave, like, but also that felt a little impulsive. So I kind of went back on that a little bit, and I've thought about it more. And the more I've thought about it, the more I've wanted to kind of stay and also have my degree as a backup plan, like just in case, because I just feel like it would be smart. Like with fighting, it's a dangerous, violent sport. It can kind of end at any moment.
A challenge that Dylan hasn't faced just yet is separating himself from the other tens of thousands of people that are also pursuing an MMA career, as UFC and MMA is the fastest growing sport in the country. So getting recognized has become increasingly difficult, but Machachik thinks even though he isn't physically imposing, there is something he believes that makes him special.
I think it's kind of more mentally, like mentality-wise. I think that separates me from a lot of people. I think a lot of people can't go to the place that I can go mentally, personally. I just don't think a lot of people can go to a deep, dark place before like a fight or like fighting as much as I do, because I just genuinely like it. So, and people might consider that a little crazy, and it might be.
Dylan has put a lot of thought into this whole process, but the one thing that he hasn't thought much about is failure. He says he knows losing is always a possibility, but it's just not something that he sees for himself.
To be honest, I don't really think I'm gonna lose. Like, I think about losing, but like, I don't think I'm going to lose. It kind of just drives me to work harder and work more. Kind of the fear of losing that first fight, because I just don't want that to happen at all. I want to dominate, to be honest.
At the moment, Dylan's goal is to have his first amateur fight before turning 21. And once the school year is over, he will go back home and train in different fighting styles and begin working with a professional trainer. That's just the next step of many before Dylan accomplishes his dream. For Tiger TV Sports, I'm Nick Lopez.
It's fucking over.